Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Teacher Tip Tuesday. I'm Clara Galan, Content Marketing Manager and former teacher here at Remind, and I'm excited for our 9th Teacher Tip Tuesday. So for those of you who are just tuning in, Teacher Tip Tuesday is a 5-minute professional development series in which we interview educators from around the world to talk about innovative and creative classroom practices and communication strategies and share their ideas with the Global Professional Learning Network. Today I'm really excited to be joined by Arin Kress, who's a 5th grade teacher from Park Street Intermediate School in Ohio. Arin is also a Skype and the Classroom Master teacher and a Classroom Champions teacher. So hi Arin, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me today.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your class and your students. How long have you been teaching at Park Street Intermediate School?
This is my 9th year teaching and my 6th year at Park Street. So I taught 3 years in South Carolina, and then I moved back to Ohio, and this is my 6th year.
Awesome. So you've been teaching for a while, it sounds like. So what's one innovative practice or strategy that you've been implementing in your classroom lately?
Well, I got on Twitter about 2 years ago, roughly, and Twitter just opens up really the world to me of education, and I was kind of bombarded with so many new practices, and the one that was probably the very first teaching practice that I changed after learning about it was the flipped classroom. And I have been flipping my math classroom now for 2 years, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I feel like, just like any teaching practice, with practice we'll get it eventually. So I finally feel like I've gotten the hang of flipping. I can definitely still grow, but one tool that has totally changed my year this year is a website called Edpuzzle. So edpuzzle.com, and it's a flipped class or a blended classroom platform, and it really is innovative. The best thing about Edpuzzle is that you assign the videos to the students to watch at home or watch in the classroom. But the greatest thing is that you can insert questions into your videos. So the video will stop, and the students will have to answer the questions, and you can just insert questions throughout and not have to feel like you have to have a quiz at the end. You can make little comments. There's just so much that Edpuzzle brings to the flipped class world. The analytics on Edpuzzle are amazing. They're just very clear cut, easy for the teacher to pull up who hasn't watched the video, who did poorly. So if you're just starting to look into the flipped class model, or if you've been flipping for a while, check out Edpuzzle, because I really think that it's a game changer.
Awesome, thanks for sharing. Yeah, I love Edpuzzle too. I actually recently met their founders. They're from Spain, Barcelona, at EdCamp Silicon Valley. So that was really cool to be able to connect with them. But I've never personally flipped my classroom myself, so I'd love to hear what are some of the feedback from students. Have you found that it really increases student engagement while they're in the classroom?
I really do. I think that I've actually surveyed my class often because I like it as a teacher, but I ask my students, would you like to go back to, the worksheets for homework and that kind of thing? And they tell me all the time no, because they feel like they're getting that one-on-one instruction. I'm getting the formative assessment, which helps me greatly in the classroom, and it really does change what happens in the classroom, because now I can see who doesn't understand. I can group the students differently. So there's just, the in-class, what I'm able to do in the classroom is impacted greatly based off of what I'm able to see, what they're able to do at home for their homework. So it's just wonderful. And Edpuzzle, the founders like you just spoke of, they've been wonderful. I've been in contact with them, and they really have the students and the teachers' best interest in mind. If I give a suggestion, or if a teacher gives a suggestion, they go and they try to change it as fast as possible. So there's somebody who, that company is really looking out for the teachers and students.
That's great. And I know no more worksheets, please, right? We definitely need to make assignments and assessment meaningful, and to make sure that students are engaged. So I know that you have many methods of staying connected to students and parents with the help of tech. What are some of the tools you use, and specifically with Remind, since I know you've been using that in your classroom, What's one way that it's impacted your experience with your students?
Yeah, I do. I put a great stake on parent communication. I do try to do many different methods, but with Remind, it's just hands down the easiest method. Every year I survey my students' parents, and they always tell me, getting the text messages, it's easy for them, it's easy for my students. I teach 5th grade, so I have several students that have cell phones, and it's just the easiest way to communicate on a daily basis. So I send out the normal reminders for homework and the regular reminders. If the students have to wear a certain T-shirt, or if there's something special, of course I'm able to tell them through the Remind text messages. But I'm also able to now upload pictures and for attachments. And there's just I actually had a blog last year, a blog for my students' parents. I decided not to do it this year because a lot of there wasn't high traffic on it. So I've been using Remind as my way to kind of blog, microblog for my students' parents. So I don't have a Facebook account or Twitter account for my class yet. I know that a lot of teachers do, and I think that's great. But right now I'm just kind of using Remind as my way to give updates and tell about what we're doing in the classroom.
Yeah, I think definitely that using Remind really, like you said, reaches parents and students where they are, particularly parents, since I know that you're teaching 5th graders. One thing I've also seen teachers do is send a link to their blog post or their WordPress site through Remind, so that then parents and students don't have to check their email and they're able to see it right away. But I'm really glad that it's been a method that helps you connect instantly with them.
Yeah, it really has been great, and I feel like I just like everything, you just keep evolving and you find new ways to, sometimes I'll come across something, I'm thinking, oh, why didn't I think of texting that before? And then I just, can use that method from now on.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm so glad it's been effective. So Arin, I know that you're a Classroom Champions teacher, and it's been a really great program for your students. What has your experience been like, and how might other teachers be able to get involved with Classroom Champions?
Yeah, Classroom Champions has been just wonderful. I've been participating for this school year, so I've been participating since September. And Classroom Champions is a nonprofit organization that pairs Olympic and Paralympic athletes right now up with students across North America, and they are growing very quickly. So I know that they have many plans in the future for expansion. But my students are paired with Merrill Davis and Charlie White, the Olympic gold medal ice dancers from Sochi Olympics, and they're just wonderful. And I also am involved with Skype and just love connecting my students through Skype. But a lot of times when you Skype with an expert or a class, many times it's a one-time call, which is wonderful for that time being, but you kind of lose that connection. When you say goodbye, that's sometimes the last time that you will talk to that group or that individual. But with Classroom Champions, it's a year-long program, so the athletes will send the classes that they're paired with monthly videos based off of a theme. So like goal setting and fair play, perseverance, community. And so they'll send the classes a video about that topic, and then the teacher will conduct lessons throughout the month and send videos and blog posts back. So it's a year-long program. And in addition to that, Classroom Champions also provides technology to the teachers and to the school to be able to conduct, what they need for the lessons, to be able to take the videos, and to be able to conduct live chats. So we have 2 live chats with our mentors, and the first one was in December, and the kids are still talking about it. So they can't wait to talk again with Merrill and Charlie. So my students, it's just honestly been a wonderful, wonderful program. I highly recommend it. And right now, actually, the application is open for the 2015-2016 school year. So if you're out there and you're thinking about using, trying to get good mentors for your students, Classroom Champions is definitely the way to go. So you can go to classroomchampions.org and find the application on there. The application deadline is actually April 3rd. So if you're interested, you got about a month, and I definitely would highly recommend it.
I can only imagine how excited students are to be able to, talk virtually to an Olympian and have them as their role model and their mentor. And I think it's great that you're using tech to actually bring them into the classroom. So Skype being a really useful resource for that. I can also imagine Remind being useful too to, send photos or different resources to parents and students that have to do with the Classroom Champions curriculum.
Yeah, it's been great because, the day before our live chats, or even if we're just going to do a Classroom Champions lesson, I might text out to the parents, to get the conversation going at home for the students to be able to talk more about what we do at school. But for the live chat in December, we recorded it and I texted it out to the parents so they could see the video. And boy, the kids it was definitely probably the best moment of the whole year was them talking to Meryl and Charlie. So we'll get another chat in the spring, and I know that they can't wait for that.
That sounds really exciting, and I'm sure really engaging for students. So Arin, it looks like we're running out of time, but I wanted to thank you again for joining us this afternoon. So for those tuning in, how can they get in touch with you via Twitter?
Yeah, so my Twitter handle is just @Arin Kress. Arin starts with an A, so it's a little different, but yeah, you can just find me @Arin Kress and feel free to tweet out any questions that you have about Edpuzzle or Classroom Champions or Remind, and I'll gladly help you out.
So thank you. Thanks for being such a great resource for so many teachers and kind of building your professional learning network. And thanks again for all of you tuning in to Teacher Tip Tuesday, and thanks again to Arin. If you have any questions about this interview, you can tweet us. We're @RemindHQ on Twitter or on Facebook facebook.com/RemindHQ, and be sure to include the hashtag #TeachTues, so that's TEACHTUES. And if you'd like to be interviewed and have your class featured, be sure to get in touch. I'm Clara Galan, and so I'm on Twitter @MissClaraGalan. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to tweet at me too. Be sure to tune in next week for some more great teacher tips. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.